Welcome to the Goodwood Show.
Welcome everyone to another The Goodwood Show, and today we have Cowboy from the Degen Ape Academy. Welcome, sir.
Hey man, thanks for having me.
Finally, it was a long wait for this to
Yeah,
happen.
stuff gets busy, you know.
Life is in the way, right? Family
Yeah,
and stuff,
yeah.
right? But you are here, and that is what is important. Um, so before everything, let me ask you a little bit about yourself. Like, what is your previous experience before crypto, before NFTs, before all this craziness?
Sure, man. I was graduating high school when the first time I heard about Bitcoin in like 2010, and didn't really know. I mean, I just remember hearing about it. I was like, "What? That's interesting." I mean, it had to have been like, $3 a coin.
Wow.
And then fast forward, I even remember thinking about it also in like 2013 or 14, but then still just like ignored it. And then finally 2017 bull run is whenever I bought uh my first Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP.
Yeah.
I remember going to the pawn shop and trading in a bunch of silver coins to buy Bitcoin, and the guy at the store thought I was crazy. He goes, "Oh, silver's gonna pop off," and of course, it stayed the same price for like forever. But yeah, so I first bought in 2017. Rode it all the way up to 17,000. So I bought around 2,000, and
Wow.
then just bag held all the way down. Completely forgot about it until right around like when GameStop in 2020 was popping off. That's when I was like, oh yeah, I have a Coinbase account. I forgot about that. And then I bought Dogecoin like super early. And then that whole craze. And then I was like, wait, like I should probably get back into this. Like, what have I been missing out on? And that kind of, and I was like big fan of Cardano. I remember buying that, and like and just I had my hands in so many coins, and looking back on it, it was like kind of silly. Like I should have just picked like 5 winners, not 25 winners.
Yeah.
But I was just having fun and just all over, watching tons of YouTube stuff. And then I heard about I saw Solana, but I wasn't sure. And then I got in a few NFTs on Ethereum. And then I just remember seeing DAA, Degen Ape Academy, on Twitter. And I saw the art and I was like, wait, what is this? Like, and it hasn't been minted yet. I'm definitely gonna mint this, right? And that's when Solana took its dip, I think, from like $40 back to like $25 or something like that. And I was like, all right, I'll load up. So I bought, I don't know, 20 Sol worth. And then
Mhm.
the DA mint happened, and it was just insanity. I had just like a few weeks before had my first kid, and so he was only a few weeks old, and my wife was like, "What are you doing?" Because I was
Yeah,
going into
exactly.
the other room like going to mint these apes, and she was like not happy at the time. And then I remember like there was the delay, and I was like, "Oh, I promise," and like yeah, but I ended up minting 3 apes.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, and then I think I sold one like a week later for like I don't know, like mint price was 6 Sol, and I think I sold it for like 9. And this was back in the day before there was any mobile apps. I mean, Phantom Mobile was not a thing. And so I was out of town, and I found out it was like all of a sudden the price just started surging like crazy. And I was like, no, I want to delist. So I like I was out of town, ran to the hotel room, tried to load it up on the computer, and it got bought. And then the price went from, I don't know, 6 Sol all the way up to 114 within, it had to be like 2 weeks. And of course I was like, well, I'm going to list mine at like 250, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly. The
yeah, I
believer.
mean, yeah. And then, I mean, ever since then, and I held two for quite a while. And then I started buying like quite a bit more later on, around like I don't know, 60 Sol or something like that. But I mean, that whole thing steamrolled into like minting geckos and Aurori and like I mean D gods and all that stuff. I mean, it
Craziness.
was it was so
Cra-
euphoric looking back on it. I mean, we had
It
so
is.
much
It
fun in
is.
Discord every day. I mean, I still get on Discord every day, even years later. But I mean,
It's not
nothing
the same thing.
beats that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was very
you
fun.
needed to time out the conversations because it was insane. Like there were so many people talking at the same time. You had to put like, I don't know, 20 seconds the limitation on chats. It was insane, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, and it just the people we had in DAA at the time. I mean, we were, a top 5, top 3 project for quite a while, and I mean,
Yeah,
and that was like when whitelist era was huge, and like, did you get on the list? And we would raid discords and just say Gib over and over and over again, and they would be like, oh, Gib OG, Gib OG, and we get OG, and then like, yeah, I mean, that's literally the name Mint Squad came from us just like going and minting tons of stuff. It was so much fun, so many inside jokes, and I mean, there's quite a few people still around, but some people come and
yeah,
go, and
less active.
projects rug and bad actors, and I mean, there's some crazy lore in DAA history, that's for sure.
Yeah, but before we go to DAA, did you have any like finance background or anything that kind of led you to this world, or was just chance?
No, just chance. I mean, just a matter of, I mean, my background, all I've ever done is cameras. I filmed for TV shows and
Oh, okay,
stuff like that, and other type of corporate clients and stuff. So I'm a camera guy, DP,
okay,
and I mean, just grew up playing video games. So to me, I was always on the computer, and like crypto, it just made sense. And
yeah, yeah,
I had not in any way like a finance background of those sorts, but in terms of like, hey, there's money to be made. This seems fun, and it's like I can sit on the computer. Why not?
yeah. So you were like computer literate, let's say, like you were familiar with the internet and like everything that all that culture already before even and
Oh
then
yeah.
I think NFTs made all the sense, right, when you put art and like all this multimedia stuff happening at that time, and then yeah, it made all the sense. It's funny because you guys, you and Dictator and other people from DAA have this fun approach, like almost always joking about stuff. How much of that, what is the threshold before people think that you are actually rugging them, like in terms of like, okay, this guys are not serious, I'm not going to take them serious, I'm not going to give them money, or I'm not going to mint that NFT. Back in the day, I think was easier like to be funny and people would still mint and still be around. Nowadays it's different, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like nowadays, man, if you're like still around and like active, you've earned this like badge, because it's just, I mean, we're so far past like the hope, we hoped for another NFT bull run, and like maybe we got sort of a glimpse of it, but I think at this point you kind of are just there to like shoot the shit and just wait for the next catalyst and like what
Yeah,
is going to intrigue people later on. I mean, we're just still here holding down the fort. I mean, there's quite a bit of stuff that we're trying to work on now, and I mean, it's been a whole journey, I'll say that, and stuff has moved a lot slower than we wanted to, but I mean, we still have to keep, I mean, DAA has always had that mindset of like being silly jokes. Like it's
hmm,
kind of like has always had the idea of kind of sort of a South Park vibe. Um,
okay,
so I think we've upheld that, and just being, I mean, it's in the name, degenerate, right?
yeah, of
I
course.
mean, yeah. And so I think it's just a little bit upholding that culture and just having fun and not taking things too seriously. And I think people do enjoy that. I mean, it's this online persona you put on, right? And it's just this ape you wear on your face, right?
Yeah,
And it becomes like your persona. So I think there's times to be serious when there's time, like a few times of getting some big partnerships with Web 2 companies, and hopefully that becomes a thing in the future again.
it reminds me all the not only DAA but all the NFTs, the ones that are still around, remind me back in the war times when the man would go to the battlefront, right? And the wives would stay at home waiting for them to come back, and we are a bit like that. We are waiting for something to come back, right? Hoping that will come back, right? We are
Yeah,
still
no,
here holding
absolutely.
the house. Yeah,
I mean, I
it's quite
definitely
funny.
think I mean, at this point, if you're still holding, what else do you have to lose in a way?
Yeah, it's a little
Like, I
bit like that.
mean,
Yeah.
I think things come in cycles and who knows when it's going to pop off again, but there will absolutely be some sort of catalyst and some people will get behind it and then it's fun again. I know it will happen, but I couldn't tell you when.
So you saw before Mint, you saw the preview of the PFPs, and you saw, okay, I love this is funny, I like the art. So you joined the Discord, and then guide us to what was your experience, if you had already a role in Discord, or if you were just a normal person, older, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, I minted and was just a holder and I hung around the Discord quite a bit and like I mean stuff was just going crazy on Twitter and stuff like that. I mean, apes were, you know, the first project on Solana that went viral, let's say. I mean, there was a few others obviously that were first, but DA definitely brought the eyes to Solana and I think it brought a catalyst, even liquidity coming there in terms of Solana's price going up and just liquidity behind NFTs on Solana. And I mean, it's still, the artwork upholds itself even years later.
Yeah.
Like I love it still, right? Um, and then just joining the Discord and seeing how crazy it was. I mean, you could have conversations with people all times a day. And I mean, also just the alpha that was shared at the
Mm,
time. I mean, you know, hey, look at this project. And like, I mean,
yeah.
there were so many times because of DAA, I got in on projects and there was like a super hot whitelist and you you mint for 2 SOL and then the floor price when it goes live is 40 and you're just like,
Yeah.
all right, just made some crazy money, right? And then it's the game of, do I hold it and it skyrockets more? Do you sell and then you regret it? It's just like, it was, I mean, we still play that game with anything nowadays, meme
Meme
coins, and
coins. Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
And the thing is, like, because what changed was that technically the mint of the AA was completely different from whatever happened before, right? In terms of was actually a mint like what we know now, right? Before with Solarians and even with, I think, SMB, the first generation was like traded. Let's say I'll give
yeah, it
you
was
a
like a
soul and then
trust
you send
system.
me. Yeah, 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 exactly. While
Yeah,
DAA was a proper mint. You click a button and you receive an NFT. And
yeah,
also, I think it showed the potential of Solana, right? And you said that you come from other blockchains. You tried Cardano and you tried Ethereum, right? For sure, you paid gas fees and stuff, and then suddenly you try this, and you're like, everyone got like a bit mind blown, right? Whoa, okay, this is completely different from whatever game I have been playing or whatever ecosystem I have been trying, right?
yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, GA, whenever they first launched, the traffic was so insane, it like broke things. And then they were like, all right, well, and then, I mean, there's a whole lore behind the Exiled apes. I mean, they minted like, I think 750 or 800 apes. And then they were like, well, if you, we'll pay you back the 6 SOL or you can keep it. And like, then they like got rid of them. And then, uh, Pitt, the panda, aka Jordan, he came out with the candy machine, and so that's like the first mint like type of smart contract for NFTs to be able to be on, like connect your wallet, pay this amount of
Yeah.
SOL, and you get your NFT. And so DA was the first one to do that, and then everything from there revolved around that smart contract, which is really cool history behind that. And I mean, yeah.
And then you sold out in like 8 minutes, right? 10,000 in 8 minutes was like, especially for a piece of technology that didn't exist at the time and was the first time. So was absolutely insane, right? I can
Yeah, I mean,
imagine.
I think they could have even sold out faster because if you remember back then, they made a Discord announcement. They're like, all right, they're like 2 days. And then all of a sudden they're like, wait, no, we'll do it in 2 hours. And I think so many people weren't ready, obviously. And then, like, you know, the FUD came on Twitter later. And then obviously, as we know back then, sometimes the FUD was actually a good thing because, like, any press is good press, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
And then you were saying that you got a lot of alpha. So I assume that the Discord was loaded with like OGs, people with a lot of influence. You had like the Globetrotters of Solana, right? And then of crypto. So you had all these high profile people there. So being part of that Discord probably was absolutely amazing, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was, you know, back then, I mean, Monolith was making custom apes for quite a few of the high profile people. I mean, Toly and Raj were rocking their ape PFP customs for quite a while. And that was like known as their face for that first like 6 months of Solana, like, you know, popping
Yeah,
off. And
everyone
then,
had them as PFPs, right?
yeah, I mean, he was making them for all these celebrities and it was cool. Definitely.
Yeah, explain to me like the structure when you got there. Who was the, because you just mentioned Monolith, but you spoke about the mm, Panda, the Pitt Panda, right? What was the structure? Who was the lead dev? Who was the like the community manager? Because at the point at that time you were just older or owner as anyone
Yeah,
else.
yeah. I mean, Monolith is the lead artist. He
Mm,
made the apes and kind of lead designer of what everything visually looks like. And then
okay,
the guy in charge of the community is Tosi, and
okay,
then lead dev was Veritas, and then they had I mean later on Nikki Scans came in. um, I don't know quite what his role was besides just a guy that kind of would do everything, and like he's, you know, very good at public speaking, so that was one of his roles. And then Crass Kitty did quite a bit of stuff in terms of you know, planning what to do for the future and what to like reward holders with. And there were some other people, and then I mean there was some I mean there's some lore even behind, like, because I was such in the beginning, like no one knew things of like legality, and like they had
yeah, of course.
lawyers, and so like their lawyers are like, well, you need to separate the community and like make a DAO, and then like the DAO has to have a separate Discord. And I mean thinking back on it,
I
obviously it was
remember
like
that.
very
I'm still
silly.
from that time where they're separated, and then at some point they merge all the two discords again, and I'm like,
Yeah,
what's happening here? What's happening? Oh my
I
god.
mean, it came down to like the lawyers at the beginning, and then like
Okay.
the DAO made a student council, and we voted on the student council. I ended up joining the student council probably like the third round of voting, maybe second round of voting.
Okay. So you were
And
part of the council. That was your
yeah,
entry on the structure.
yeah, I think I joined the council probably like February of 2022.
Okay.
Um, so like near the back end of like the bull run for NFTs, just about sort of. Yeah, and then just I stayed in that ever since, and then I mean that steamrolled into eventually like you know, people maybe not necessarily like get bored, but just move on to other things, and
Yeah,
like,
of
you
course.
know, not as much
You chase the next
incentives. And
thing, right?
yeah, and like not that they're, I mean those people from the original are like still around. It's not that, it just needed more help, and just, and so that came into like this, you know, CTO takeover kind of thing, but it's not a
Okay.
full takeover. I mean, there's still the OG people. It's just more of like extra help that came in, and that's whenever I came in and a few other people
And
from
then
the old student council. Yeah.
yeah, Seb was also community
Yeah. Yes.
manager at some
Of course.
point. Part. So it was almost like the perfect storm, let's say, because so many high profile people that things they had to work out, right? But it was crazy that you got your first $1 million Solana NFT sale, right? Was that insane, or was that how did you feel when you saw that sale?
Well, I mean, obviously, when I saw it, I just thought, I mean, this is going to be essentially everyone was thinking at the same time, this is the Bored Ape Yacht Club of Solana, right? And that was kind of the mindset, I guess. And I mean, I mean, not to mention the $1 million sale. I mean, there were several, like, you know,
Yeah.
2,500, 3,000 soul, 5,000 soul buys, and like, I mean, mid rares were going for like 300 soul. It was just, I mean, it was insanity. I mean, and thinking back on it, I mean, even fast forwarding to whenever they airdropped the eggs that turned into the drop bears. I mean, I remember getting a 350 soul offer on one of my eggs, and of course, I'm like,
Wow.
oh no, I'm obviously gonna keep this.
Of
Why
course.
would I give?
Of course.
So I will say soul was like $20 at the time, but
Okay.
like,
Okay.
I mean, it was, you know, I mean, he still offered like 11 grand or 12 grand, but yeah, you know, we live and
Crazy.
learn.
And at that time, the royalties were there, right? So it's not that period where whatever something Cube, whatever was that platform that came and kind of took all the royalties. So I assume like your treasury was loaded, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, there was, I will say, as much as the treasury was loaded, the way that stuff was established at the beginning, and because there were so many people involved in setting this up, and they had no idea this was about to absolutely explode. But the royalties were cut into several different pies. It's not like it all went
Okay.
to one thing. I think people don't quite understand that. But yeah, obviously when royalties dried up, that was a big thing of, wow, maybe we should have thought of some better ways of retaining money. I mean, every NFT project came down to that, right?
Yeah.
There's only a handful that really established some sort of money flow. And then that's where it came a little bit weird with the DAO, because the DAO was like, oh, hey, let's set up a validator. And so the DAO had and it still has a validator, and that's what brings in our money, is our validator. But in hindsight, if DAA would have made that validator under them, maybe things would have turned out a little bit different later on down the road. But we are where we are, and it ended up coming back to them in the end, because now we're all like a part of one team.
Yeah. What was kind of your, from what you remember, like the top of the treasury in terms of how much money you guys had at some point?
I mean, the DAO at one point, I mean, we had 400,000. I know that for sure. And I remember, and you know how this goes when you're trading, if you take a screenshot, that's literally like the top. And I
The
kid you
top,
not,
yeah.
I remember when it hit 400, I screenshotted it and I posted it in the holders chat. And I was like, yo, check out the treasury. And that was literally the Pico top. I mean, we still have several six figures. And it's not like we're spending a whole lot of money on things. We're kind of just building up
Just
the
yeah.
portfolio at the moment, to do things when it comes into play. But as of now, I mean, our monthly expenses do come down to, paying for the validator's hardware, paying for our friends to help with the validator, make sure everything's up to date, and if it needs help and work. But we do own our own hardware for the validator, which is
Okay.
really nice. And we did get very lucky and purchased that hardware before the big RAM boom. And so I mean, we really lucked out with that, because I think the price would have been, 3 times what we paid. So that's really nice that we have that. I mean, we're hitting as high of margins as we can in terms of speeds for the validator to ensure we get as much money as possible, and continuing working on as many, there's grants that are given out, and I mean, we obviously have the Solana Foundation grant and a few others that are giving soul to our validator, and we're working on getting a few more here and there. I mean, and I think, let's say, I mean, even today, right? Solana is like really creeping on a breaking point, possibly. I don't know if it's the bottom of the crypto cycle, but it's very much at a breaking point of going possibly up, from this long descending wedge. And who knows, maybe let's say it pops off, and obviously when the price goes up, retail comes back and we can start really just solidifying that stake again. I mean, it's hilarious though when you think about it. It's so much easier to convince three whales to give you some Solana versus like trying to convince 1,000 people.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's
that's
my
really what
dilemma
it, yeah.
with our validator. When people say, "Look, why don't you ask the community to?" Doesn't make any sense. Like the time I'm gonna chase for 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 Solana from, I don't know, 100 people, doesn't make any difference on the overall revenue, right? It's much easier to actually give to find one whale that you can partner with, and that person stake with you, and you give them some sort of benefits, than
Yeah.
to please so many people, right? Because then you dilute as well. Like if you, okay, I'm gonna give the token to whoever stake with us, but then how much token can you give, right? If there's so
Yeah.
many people. Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
validate. And as you said very well, like the sentiment is very bottomish, right? In everything, right? With the validators, with the price of the token, with the with adoption more or less, because adoption and building, I see a lot of builders and people doing projects and on the hackathons, but in terms of retail being here, the normies are not here. The ones that are here are the ones that were here since, I don't know, 21, 22, right?
Yeah.
It's the feeling I have. I wanted to ask also, how was after the mint, in terms of how did Solana then build or built the NFTs season after you guys? Because I think the EA was kind of uh, the main catalyst, right? And then suddenly we have the gods, Mad Lads was much further down the line, but then even Mindful, SMBs. There's so many projects that came after Cats on Crack, OK Bears, right? All of those were only possible because of the EA technology and hype, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was funny. It was a big game of chasing like what the meta was at the time. I mean, maybe at the beginning it was okay, just artwork, and then what's the coolest PFP, right? Which was fine. And then it changed to, I mean, once DGods essentially opened up the door to a token with
Yeah.
Dust, I mean, that obviously exploded. And then, it can only go as far as it can go, right? And then that kind of bit down. And then, I mean, there's some people like, I mean, Famous Fox, they're still kicking with
Yeah.
their own thing in terms of, I mean, I use them all the time for Foxy Swap. I mean, that was such a key part of like Solana NFTs in the beginning. I mean, it still is if you're wanting to like trade people and have that trust system.
And I
But
remember to swap the whitelist tokens, right? We used to go there, buy whitelist tokens to mint a project. It was crazy, right?
oh
Uh,
yeah,
they
I
used to
mean,
have, and they still have a big treasury, right? So maybe probably the biggest treasury in all, maybe except for SMBs,
you know who actually
MultiDAO,
has a huge treasury and no one ever talks about it? Although I'm sure they've spent quite a bit, but Aurori.
Solarians. Oh,
No,
Aurori. Oh, really?
Aurori
Okay.
had a huge treasury. Man, they brought in like,
Wow.
I mean, tens of
They were big
millions.
at that time as well with geckos and stuff. They were
Yeah. I mean,
big
they were
projects.
building, I'm actually curious. I haven't looked at their project in quite a while, but I mean, they were in, their plan was to build this AAA level
Yeah.
game,
I
which
don't know
is
what happened
great.
there. I
I
think they
mean,
built something, but it's just
yeah.
the intention is not there, right?
Yeah, I definitely think they ended up building something. It's just, I mean, it was an attention span thing, and it's an attention span in all of crypto. If something takes 2 to 3 years to build. I mean, it's been DA is coming up on its 5th year birthday.
Yeah,
Like,
it's crazy.
I mean, if you're not building something, and I realize good things come with time, but man, I mean, they kind of took their time on that a little bit too long. Just like, I mean, DA's made that mistake plenty of times, let's be real. But yeah, I mean, attention span was like a huge thing, but I think Aurora definitely has had one of the bigger treasuries at the
I
time.
remember to buy the token in TGA, and I kept it still somewhere, maybe worth like $2 or $3. I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea what that's worth.
What happened there, and but then tell us what was the roadmap for the EA, and what were the initiatives that then you guys had to do stuff, because at the beginning was just community and kind of art, right? It was an experiment, but then you guys had to deliver.
Basically, they never wanted to, which rightfully so in some ways, I understand. And at the time we were at, like, you don't want to make promises. You don't want to make this roadmap and get like wrecked, but at the same time, you want to tell the holders something. And there was a time when they were crazy close to making a TV deal for a TV show. I mean, because like
Wow.
the groundwork's there, right? But I mean, I think it was a matter of selling a percentage of the IP, and it was just like they couldn't come to an agreement, and then so that just never came to fruition. But I mean, and then the idea steamed into like, well, okay, just Web2 partnerships, and they had a pretty cool partnership with this.
Yeah, there was a lot of partnerships, right? I remember the
yeah, I mean, we made the
serious
beer
ones.
Yeah, the beer was really cool. I would love to bring that back. I mean, I assume there is some way, but that worked out because there was a guy that owned a brewery and he was in the NFT scene. I'm forgetting his name, but he owned a brewery, so they came up with the design, put some beer in it, slapped it in a can, and that was really cool. That was actually ended up. That's when I started working with DAA. I filmed the beer commercial for that, and had a lot of fun, and so that's how I really got my foot in the door with them. But I mean the beer, and then it steamrolled into like I mean merch is merch, but at the same time, at the beginning of the NFT bull run, like the DA hoodie and the hat is like such an OG like status symbol. I mean, right? And so that was a thing, and then the streetwear brand, they did a deal with Extra Large. It's this kind of like, I think they're more known in Japan, um, but that was really cool to get like this skateboarding, or like this skateboarding kind of like idea behind it. But yeah, I mean, I, th- I don't, I mean, it really was like a TV show, but then they ended up making it was decently successful for what it was, but a comic book, I mean, obviously it's not quite as popular as a TV show, but I think it was more about just getting the idea of, hey, these characters are really cool, and there is a story that can be told with them, and how unique they are and stuff, and just like the attitude and idea of being silly and degenerate, and like the sky's the limit, and it's still there. I mean, nothing is completely thrown out yet, but I mean, at this point, I think it's really just DA's mindset and me is fixing some of the things that were broken, and just laying that framework and foundation for the next run. And from there, we can pivot to doing things differently. And I really do. I mean, me as a holder, I mean, I have like, I don't know, 20 apes. Like, I want them to come back for my own personal reasons, but then just a mindset of even, coming back as like being down, and like people like not, giving them the time of day. I want to like prove a bunch of people wrong, and come out with some really cool stuff, and maybe like break the mold. And DAA started the NFT bull run in 2021. Maybe we can be the ones that bring it back in 26 or 27.
I hope so. And then I'm just seeing on the website the history, the landmarks and stuff. And then we have the Trash Panda Mint, right? What was the
Mhm.
idea behind that? And then apparently you raised 500K for charity, right? And
Yeah.
charity was not a trendy thing at all. When people would see charity on NFTs, they would run. They would like, no way.
Yeah, I mean, so that comes back to the mint. So whenever the website broke and the program obviously couldn't keep up, Jordan, I'm pretty sure he was working with the Solana Foundation at the time. Like he was one of like the OG like devs, right? And so he knew how to write on Solana very well. And so he stepped in because Solana Foundation was like, whoa, okay, this is getting a lot of eyes. We should maybe step in and help these guys. And so Jordan came in and he goes, I'm going to build this. And so he built it in 2 days and then he saved the mint, right? And so later on he was like talking to Monolith and he was like, hey, I'm going to come out with my own project. And Monolith basically thought which in a way he thought he owed him a debt, and so it was, hey, let me make the artwork for it. And so that's where Degenerate Trash Pandas came in to play.
Okay.
And that's like the connection. And it was just, I think things should have been done like a smidge differently because Monolith was like, okay, if I make this, I want one panda for every
Yeah, I
ape there
remember that.
is, right? And so the supply was 20,000, not 10,000, which people were used to. And so that's how a bunch of people got pandas. And then also he thought, hey, let me make this because mint prices, people were complaining about them because Solana was like $200. And so he goes, let's do a system to where you want whatever bid you want to put in, you put in. It can be between 0.1 Solana and one and one. And of course, everyone wrote 0.1 Solana
I
to
remember that.
save as
Yeah,
much
yeah,
money as possible. I don't know why he didn't think, oh, maybe you should raise it. And so he like promised, I think 50% of the mint would go to a charity or something like that. And so that's where the charity donation came in.
So it was two different, in theory, projects, but then they lived both in the same Discord, right?
Yeah, that's where it got just so confusing and because the artwork is obviously in the same universe. The name,
Yeah.
I think it would have been different if they like named it differently,
Yeah,
but because
or
they
just
put
Pandas or
Degenerate,
something, or
yeah,
Red
and
Pandas. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean I mean we were essentially, if I were to say it, we were cousins to each other,
Mm.
not brothers, but cousins, like a family member, right? So I don't know. I think things should have been laid out a little differently at the beginning because it was always so confusing for people. And like, I mean, we had 3 different discords. We had the Trash Panda Discord, the DA Discord, and the DAO Discord. And
That's
like,
so confusing.
yeah, I know.
Nowadays,
So,
we try to simplify. Like, there's 3 channels now. Like, I think it's the minimal. Back in the day, there was a channel for music, a channel for
oh,
this,
I
a
know.
channel for that.
Got into being a part of the team. My first thing was like, all right, we need to delete. I deleted like, well, actually hit them, but I deleted like 20 channels.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is just ridiculous. And I also renamed Mint Squad to Holders Chat just because people were like, where do you like go and chat? Because whenever
Yeah,
you
yeah,
buy
yeah.
an NFT, you're like, all right, I want to see the Holders Chat. And like sometimes people do name it differently. Like, well, okay, where do I talk if I own this? So I just wanted to make it plain as day. But live
And
and learn.
yeah, live
So
and learn. And then came the eggs. What was the idea then behind the eggs that led to the bears, right?
yeah, and so the eggs really stemmed from there was a problem with the mint with twins. So there was several apes that had the same exact ape in the collection. There
Okay.
was even a set of triplets, a few of them. And so the idea was, oh, I'm going to reward those people who have the same ape because we couldn't delete them. I mean,
Yeah, of course.
you can't touch them, right? And they're one of the few projects that you can't touch. And so the idea was, okay, we're going to reward people. And so there's, I don't know how many twins per se there was, maybe like 180 or 200 of them. I don't even think there was that many. And then so they're like, well, we'll make the collection for this super small. So we'll make it 2,500. And then so you had to go in the bathroom and like you had a chance of getting an egg, right? And there was some lore behind that and like they had some
Okay.
storytelling. And then it's funny, he came out with the eggs because at the time Mono didn't even know what he was going to make with the eggs. So
Okay.
he just was using the eggs as a placeholder holder. And then months later he came out with essentially, younger apes, but people didn't really enjoy the artwork and they called them grandpa apes or something like that. And then so he goes, all right, he scratched it all and then decided to come out with the drop bears, which is some um it's like an Australian lore behind koala bears. I mean, drop
Yep.
bears are these like rabid animals, right? And so, I mean, they're cool little creatures, and just had a kind of a whole different mindset in designing the clothes and things that they wear. And they also had a different staking behind them. They got, you know, 5 times the amount of
Oh, okay.
rewards that apes got because it's a smaller collection. Yeah.
But it's everyone was doing more or less the same thing. That was diluting the original collection, right? Everyone was doing that. Let's do a second collection. Let's inflate the original one, without realizing that was one of the biggest mistakes. That it's easy now to reflect on that, but probably
Yeah,
at
I
the time,
mean, maybe at the mindset was at the time, the holder's mindset was, oh, I'll get an airdrop, right? And free money. And then the builders, the team's mindset was, oh, we're getting capital to build
yeah,
more stuff. Although it was a free airdrop, so I don't know. It's not like they actually were getting in some ways a whole lot of capital because it was a free airdrop. It's not like it was like a different mint per se. Um, but I mean, people were just looking for like something new, something exciting, and it was new and exciting, but it was just the timing and how long it took to perfect the art. It kind of things had just been fizzling out towards the end of that, and it was just unfortunate timing, really.
There's something new happening on Solana, and you can hear it. Soul Radio is a 24/7 radio stream and original tracks only. No copies, no noise, just real vibes from the ecosystem. If you're part of the space, you need to hear this. Discover Soul Radio now at soulradio.fun.
and then you said that the NFTs are not changeable. I assume they were immutable at the time, but then
Yeah.
at some point the decision was reversed, and then a new collection sideways kind of came about, where that collection is actually changeable and you choose the traits and stuff. Can you guide us on what was the idea and
Yeah, I
what
mean, so
happened?
that was a problem at the beginning. I mean, and it is funny. He was when Monolith made the artwork, he put in these like super silly traits, right? Like dresses and maid outfits and like food in the mouth. And like it was fine. Just the problem was the quantity of it. And everyone was after a clean NFT,
Yeah, of course.
right? And
Yeah.
so that was, yeah. I mean, and so the idea behind there's multiple ideas behind DAHS, it's higher self. And so it's the V2 of the V1. One, you have to burn your ape to get the higher self version. So it goes from immutable to mutable, so you can change the traits. And then the idea was, oh, then you can build a really cool profile picture. And then another idea behind it also was, okay, once it's a mutable asset, we can enforce royalties and bring money back to the project to sustain it and pay for people to build and lead and just be active, because there's only so far people will go for free. Even though
Exactly.
all of us right now are doing it for free just because we love it and we've been here since the beginning. um, and maybe we have nothing better else to do than hang around. But I mean, that was the idea, though, was to create the ultimate profile picture, build something really cool. And we were also creating a second economy within the NFT, and like you could trade a space outfit for 40 Sol, and people would buy that and put it on a different colored ape, right? And so like it created a different economy. And while it did work and was successful for a few months, with auctions and like staking points and stuff, just things broke in terms of the programming. And at the time of it breaking, I mean, it was on the tail end of the NFT run, and just
Yeah.
people just had grown tired, and money had dried up in terms of that. And so people, you know, you gotta make money to live. And so things got put on the back burners, and we're at where we're at now. But I will say the future is looking a lot better now than it did 6 months ago. But
Okay.
yeah.
And that separation between the immutables and the mutables did create a bit of confusion as well, probably, right? Because then it shows two collections on Tensor or in the Magic Eden, right?
Yeah, we ended up getting it all to one collection. And so it is 10,000 apes no matter what, because you have to burn an original ape to get the new ape. Now, the problem, Magic Eden, which that's a whole different story now, but Magic Eden fixed it for us. So they blocked out the wallet that holds 7,000 apes that aren't in play yet. They're the V2 apes that haven't been burned over, right? And so they got rid of that number because people would look at it like, wait, there's 17,000 in the collection. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
no. It's so they were able to like take out that wallet. I'm not sure if Tensor has done it. We've asked them to. And then we ended up getting them also to solidifying it all to one collection on the marketplace, which helped with confusion. But that was just, I mean, that was another thing. I mean, something like that needed to be fixed like ASAP, and it took months. I mean, it's not like anyone wasn't trying. It was just a matter of if people were going to
Yes.
respond to a DM.
Yeah, exactly. And we had the same issues with not same, but our images were not showing because some issues with the provider, EPFS or whatever. And then we were trying to contact everyone, and that's something that you cannot fix straight away. And then people start like, okay, there's no images, or in your case, like why there's two collections, or why there's so much. So many NFTs on the collection, right? And people start questioning and doubting, and creates the FUD, right? A little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
Do you think that nowadays, right? Because projects were left with the bare minimum, right? There's no roadmaps, most of them, right? And then, as you like, I don't know if you're familiar, like OK Bears, for example, is doing a lot of in real life stuff with charities. And then since DEA was also had a lot of charity work and gave so much to Solana free, like this T-shirt I have, it was for free on the Solana Spaces. So can the communities live just with JPEGs, art, and the community, or they still need roadmaps?
Well, I mean, I think a mindset at the beginning, if we go back, is like you paid for this NFT to get a ticket into this Discord, to get alpha, to get whitelist spots, to get, you know, all these things. So you're like buying into this country club. And I think if that mindset comes back, people will be intrigued in it. And like, it's not, and then that also equates into IRL things. I mean, you know, whenever the NFT New York City, like, hey, do you have that
Yeah.
NFT to get into that party? Or like the Magic Eden yacht party, right? Like,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
if that makes a comeback, yes, I could see many reasons people would like purchase NFTs or do this, and that. You know, you see like the Pokemon market like popping off, and then obviously that does translate to NFTs on Solana. I mean, um, the money is there, right? There is liquidity there. It's just a matter of when that liquidity makes a comeback to certain areas of crypto.
It's still after, I don't know, 5 years, right? That we are around in Solana in the NFTs. Kind of the mentality is still a bit the same, right? To chase what is trendy at the moment. Now it's happening not only with NFTs but with other I don't know, protocols and things. What is your view on that? Do you think that it's the correct approach, or everyone should do their own thing?
Well, I mean, I definitely think you should keep an ear to the ground in the timeline of like trends. I mean, even the trend right now I've seen is like, Solana gaming. It's something people even thought about in 2021, like, those like metaverse projects, right?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And like right now, I mean, it's Kintara. Like that's something I always envisioned for crypto gaming back in the day, is a role play game you could buy and sell like equipment. And like I'm a big gamer, so like an MMORPG like that, I've always had the mindset of. I think pivoting when it needs to pivot, but then also staying true to your roots and your brand are important for sure.
Yeah, and then if we have another NFT hype cycle, let's say, what should NFT projects not repeat that created problems or made them go to zero in this case in 21, 22? What are the lessons from that time?
That's a great question. I mean, we talked about it. Just okay, you mint on a project and then misuse of funds. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Not. I mean, okay. Hey, say Solana's we're at the peak of the bull market. NFTs make a run. Solana's at $350, $400. You mint in Solana. Are you selling some for stable coins? Because that wasn't. That's a whole nother thing
Yeah,
too. It's
yeah,
like,
that's true.
I mean, the Treasury just being in Solana was a problem too. While it was nice when it was running up, it's not nice when it's running down. I mean,
especially when people had that treasury in FTX, right?
Yeah.
Because then FTX went down. Okay, they paid apparently. I don't know. Everyone complains, but apparently they gave back, but with the value of in USDC that was equivalent to when it.
Yeah.
So
I
in
mean,
the end of the day,
yeah, I mean, misuse of funds for sure. I feel like that's such a big thing because like you got to pay people to like work for the project and make it their full-time gig to give their full attention to, right? And then, not watering down the project in terms of like multiple collections. Um, try as much as you can not to Ponzi it up. Like you get this for that, X, Y, and Z with a meme coin. While there are times when a coin does make sense if it has some sort of purpose behind it, but at the same time, it's such a slippery slope we've seen failed many times over and over again.
yeah, of course.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's it. And like DAA, imagine if they did a coin when dust was popping off, it would have popped off. Like it would have been fine. But now, years later, I mean, it would have been a joke to have it in your wallet, right? And so luckily they held back. And like, I mean, I could see a future where an NFT economy, if we really get like traits up and running and auctions and staking points and stuff, like making that a token with liquidity behind it would be really cool. And or at least just making it a token that's tradable with maybe no dollar value behind it, but it's just a tradable token would be cool. And then maybe that's where like a game like Kintara, where there's the value is set by the holders. So it's this ever evolving like economy is really neat. And that way no one's promised anything, right? And then it's not like you're just watching some meme coin drop 99%. Yeah, I mean, I think stuff will change, metas will change if there's a run again, and you need to pivot, and you need to pivot in a timely manner when you do that. Like as much and of course you want to do things the right way, but at the same time, sometimes I think the right way is actually doing things quickly and not losing people to
the momentum as well.
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep the momentum. I've seen that so many times.
What is DAA today and what is the future?
Yeah, I mean, DAA today is just a bunch of OG holders hanging out and reminiscing about the good times. But I mean, we still it's a place where we share meme coins, share jokes. I mean, talk about the past and just reminisce, but then I mean, we're so deep in the bear market with just crypto in general.
Yeah,
Of course, people like the timeline on Twitter even has just gone down significantly.
and
But
everyone kind of moved to Telegram. It's very, very weird. Like the Discord was actually the biggest platform in 2021, 22, and of course Twitter. But now everyone is on Telegram, even the NFT projects.
dude, I hate Telegram so much.
I hate Telegram as well. So
well, because
I don't
Discord
see
is so much more like it's like you can build all these channels and like the chat history's there. You can share media so much easier. I mean the voice chat rooms, yeah. I mean, but I mean DAA right now, luckily things are moving in the right direction in multiple ways. I mean, we have our old developer helping with terms of like figuring out what to do next, but in terms of building, we do have a new developer and he's helped out tremendously. And then really it's just a matter of us fixing the things that were broken, and we're very close to fixing those things, and just putting them in on mainnet. We're doing a bunch of testnet things right now. I mean, we just fixed Ascension, so you can again send your V1 ape to V2 now, which is good. But now the idea is just to fix trait swapping. But it's just been a little bit of a headache because to get the keys for some of the old stuff, I mean, it's this whole thing. But we are seeing the greener side of the pasture. I'll say that.
Tell me to end the show. Tell me one myth about DEA you are tired of hearing.
Something that people have like a bad idea of DAA. I mean, and they still talk about today. I mean, we had a bunch of big people in the project at the start, but they ended up being bad actors.
Okay.
I think that left a little bit of sour taste in people. And then also, I mean, back to like Mint Squad era, I mean, there's a bunch of people they were just minting projects, and rightfully so, taking profits right away. And it was just like a mindset of just selling right away and not like holding for it to go up higher. I think that was a problem people had with holders of DAA. And maybe even just also, I mean, the bear market was kind of taking it out on people, and they weren't very happy in the Discord, and like sometimes the vibes were a little off, but I mean, those things have definitely been fixed by now.
How would you explain like NFTs for someone that actually knows blockchain but only knows Bitcoin? Why did people pay 6 Solana for a cartoon of an ape, for example?
I mean, it was this idea of, I mean, I had Twitter since, I don't know, 2009
Same,
or so.
yeah.
Like, I remember
used
just like, I was just like, I'm just going to sign up for this thing, because I was like all over like MySpace, and then it went into Facebook and then Instagram and stuff. But the idea was to just have, I mean, everyone on crypto Twitter has, or crypto X, what do you want to call it now, has an online persona, right? And you wanted to have this persona, maybe not your doxed face, and so you became this NFT profile picture. And that was like kind of the idea to buying these projects, was to have a persona that matched everyone else. I mean, there's still people, NFTs aren't popping off, but everyone on Twitter or X still has an NFT profile picture, you know?
That's true.
So, I mean, that's kind of the mind. And you get a ticket into this exclusive club, right? And it's a place to share alpha and ideas, and maybe you're into trading or what's the next big thing.
Yeah, and people with the same mindset, right? And visions and ideas, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cowboy, thank you so much for coming to the show. It was a pleasure. I hope, and I'll be around to see the future of DEA, and we hope for the next NFT bull mania, right?
Yeah, man. Me and you both are hoping for it, and a lot of other people. I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you so much.
Chop, chop.